Hi everyone, and welcome to the first ever CAC Women's Lacrosse Preseason Webcast. I'm Assistant Commissioner Tim Maurer. This webcast will feature each of the 9 conference coaches discussing their prospects for the upcoming year, followed by the unveiling of the preseason poll. Defending CAC and national champion Salisbury enters the season atop the national preseason polls, looking to repeat its unblemished 2013 campaign. A slew of challengers in the CAC will look to knock the Seagulls off their perch this spring, including newcomers Christopher Newport and Southern Virginia. Now let's take a look at each team entering the 2014 campaign.
Our goals and expectations this season are to make it into postseason play. So joining the CAC this year, we definitely want to make it into the conference tournament and be competitive within the conference and then earn a bid into the NCAA tournament. So we had big senior class last year that really helped create the success that we did in 2013. Losing Lauren King, Becca Geis, Monica Evans will definitely leave holes that we're working on filling now. And even off the field, they were great 2-year captains for us, so it's definitely a leadership loss that we had there. Ashton Marshall on the attack and Morgan Smith on defense will be great leaders that we're looking to lean on this season, as well as returning Hannah Slough in the goal. She had a great freshman year campaign, and so we're looking for the same from her this year. We have a great freshman class. I'm really excited about what they can bring. A couple of them that have been standing out so far and seem to have fit in seamlessly with the rest of the team are Erin Callahan, Mariah Jenabra, and Megan Galvin. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to accomplish this season, as well as the rest of their classmates. The CAC is one of the strongest Division III women's lacrosse conferences from top to bottom. So we know every game's going to be a battle, and that will definitely be an adjustment coming from the USA South to the CAC. So to make sure that we can earn that bid into the NCAA, we want to make sure we have the toughest non-conference schedule as well. So we're playing a lot of the ODAC teams, including ODAC champs Washington and Lee, who we'll be opening up with on February 15th, as well as Lynchburg, Roanoke, and then new to our schedule this year is University of Redlands, as well as Washington College. So we're hoping to really play some teams that have competed at the national level and have done well regionally to help us get to our goal of competing in the NCAAs. It's definitely been crazy with all the snow. I've got to stop telling recruits that we don't get snow down here, because I think I jinxed us. We've had a couple of days inside, but luckily we were able to have the turf plowed and get back out there. So it hasn't set us back too much. It's definitely been an adjustment, but I still feel confident that we're ready to start play on the 15th.
We definitely just want to keep trying to climb the ladder. Our in-conference schedule is very competitive, and we just want to continue to keep rolling along with those changes and continue to bring better players in so that we can be more competitive and see some postseason play. We definitely saw and got a taste of it last year with traveling to Mary Washington, but we want to just continue to lengthen our season and get into that postseason play so we can become a name that's respected and feared almost in the CAC and out of conference as well. So we just want to continue to fight the good fight and make sure that we're doing the best we can to bring in great recruits and maintain quality athletes, keep everyone healthy. We had a large graduating class last spring with 9 players leaving us, including a junior that graduated early and an international player from England. So Caitlin Kessiker, junior that graduated a year early, definitely a key loss for us. She was our center, draw specialist, a very tall athletic player and a great leader on the field. Also, another key loss for us comes in Taylor Cassett, who was an all-conference midfielder for us. Definitely a player that you can't replace. She was one of those players that would just exhaust herself on the field. She definitely led by example, showing the younger ones that it can be done, and that just kind of displaying that attitude that she didn't care who we played. It didn't matter what color the jersey was. On the opposing side, she was going to go as hard as she could for as long as she could. So that was definitely a big loss for us. And then, of course, we were sad to see Naomi Swan go. Definitely a surprise when I first took the position here. She was a second-string goalie, worked her way up, put in the time, put in the effort, and worked her way up into the starting position. Made some really big saves and caused some big upsets in the conference as well as out. So definitely losing that leadership in the cage on the defensive end of things is something that we're looking to fill those shoes immediately. We're namely excited to welcome back our returners from the midfield. We have Mallory Brunette returning to us, who was a draw specialist for us after a season-ending ACL injury. So we're very excited to get her back. She's been rehabbing very well and is almost at 100%. So she'll be back on the field for us this spring. We also have returning second-team defender Jessica Jones, who will also be joining her on the circle and is a draw specialist this year. Jessie just has a great light about her, a great attitude that we're really excited to welcome back. She is great with all of the younger players as well, and she's a great leader on the field, leading by example and always being positive. So we're very happy to get that energy from Jessie coming back this year. We also have Megan White returning to us, who will be looking to be a key goal scorer for us. A very aggressive attacker, very smart player, very athletic, and also with a great attitude. I believe that she will be in contention for one of our captain spots this spring as well. And we also have returning defensive midfielder Ellie Garner returning to us. She and Megan are very similar on the field. However, Megan is more offensive minded, whereas Ellie excels more on the defensive end of the field. However, they will be looking to flip-flop this year and get a taste of the opposite sides of the field, which will only help us more because they'll be kind of getting that experience on both ends of the field, so we can plug them into situations where we need to so they can help us out. So we're really looking forward to the returners coming back into the midfield, helping us, as well as trickling that talent in on both ends of the field to have some success. Very excited about the freshman class we have coming in. We have a great group of young ladies as well as athletes coming in for us that have really just joined the family right away. We have a great pair of midfielders joining us in Megan and Molly Hart, twin sisters from Howard High School. So we'll be looking to see them on both ends of the field this year, scoring goals as well as helping out in the midfield, and they're polishing up their defensive skills as well. We also have a great freshman goalkeeper coming to join us that will be fighting for cage time this year in Dylan Tettlebaum. She's a goalkeeper from Long Island, and she's won several state championships at her high school, Bayshore. A great young lady with a lot of direction, a lot of skill. So we're looking forward to seeing what she can do in the cage for us this year. And we also have some great defenders coming in as well. Imani Bird and Alyssa Barlow are two defenders that I personally feel are going to be in contention for Rookie of the Year votes this year. Both very, very aggressive players, very skilled, and definitely their attitudes, and they have a hunger to take the ball from somebody. So we'll be seeing a lot of that this spring as well. Well, again, that's something that we've talked about as a family as well already, coming into the first group practices here this week. We definitely want to pull some upsets and tie up some loose ends. Last year we had a couple of tough losses, namely with losing to Goucher by 1 goal, losing to St. Vincent by 1 goal as well, actually 2. But those are some teams that we're definitely looking to end the contracts with a win. The girls are very adamant about kind of getting that redemption this year out of conference, and with our newcomers combined with the healthy players we have coming back from injuries, it's extremely possible. So we're looking forward to that. In conference, it's pretty well known that women's lacrosse in the CAC is a very competitive game, a very competitive conference, especially with the addition of Christopher Newport coming in. They're going to be a team that are going to be testing York, Mary Washington, and Salisbury for that postseason play and that postseason ranking. So we're just looking to, again, climb the ladder in the CAC, remain competitive, do our homework as far as scouting reports are concerned so that we can get the wins and get into the postseason as well.
Yeah, our goals and expectations are certainly to be playing our best lacrosse in May. We want to put ourselves in a position to challenge for a conference title and get back to the national stage. One of the things that we talk about a lot and is a team motto with our girls is all in. And the expectation is that our team brings their very best in each situation and each moment. So that for us is, much more process oriented and taking it day by day. Some of the key losses from last year's team: senior All-American defender Katie Mastropaolo. She's definitely left, I think, a little bit of a hole on the defensive end. And all-region attacker Keller Torrey, who was the leading scorer last year. But more importantly, I think it offers the opportunity for some players to step up, have some fresh faces and a good group of returning players to really fulfill those roles and bring in, some new power in those positions. Some of our key returners on the offensive end include Jenna Petroselli. She's a senior attacker this year, returning all-region player. She's got a very quick first step, difficult to defend. We also have some height with Corinne Wiedeker. Kara Hogan's looking great in the preseason, so definitely have a good mix on the offensive end. As far as our midfield unit goes, we pretty much return a unit that's intact. We have senior captain and returning all-region player Megan Gersbeck, Katie Williams, and Emily Atkinson. Those three are just really, I think, three workhorses on our team and move that ball up and down the field quite well together. And then in our defensive end, we have Maggie Nunn back from a knee injury from last year, and she's done a great job in the preseason on really picking off passes and being a force on the defensive end. And also just have some new looks in there as well. So really excited about what we have coming up. Some of the new additions on our team include Emily Mott. She's a midfielder from New York. Emily has just a tireless energy. She is up and down that field, great speed, and has really put a lot of work in on the offseason on her stick. So we're excited to get her some minutes in the midfield unit. Have Kelsey Vincent from Maryland. She is a crafty attacker, got a very quick first step and a nice stick. But Kelsey does something really well, and that's just basically she makes her other teammates look great. And then we have Sabrina Elliott, who's a Virginia native. And she's got, some solid crease work play, good footwork, but across the board, a great freshman class that complements our returners quite well. Our schedule is solid. We open up with some ODAC schools, so an area that I'm very familiar with. We open on Tuesday, February 18th against Shenandoah. Some great competition with those early on ODAC schools to prep us for the conference. Obviously, our conference is one of the strongest in the country, and going to see some great competition there. And then we also play Catholic from the Landmark, which always proves to be a great game. I'm so really excited about what our schedule looks like this year. It's great to be back. It's a place that I certainly wanted to come back to, and one that I'm excited for our future. I think Mary Washington has the resources to be successful on a national level. But more importantly, the girls on this team, I think they have really bought into everything and are ready to take things to another level here in the 2014 season.
Our goals and expectations for the upcoming season are to continue to strive to move up in the conference rankings. With our conference having 4 top 20 teams, we always have a pretty good measure of where we are. And we're always striving for that conference playoff spot as well. Our key losses from last year include Stephanie Flood and Cecilia Pasquale. Stephanie was a 3-time all-conference player for us, 2 of those being first-team accolades. She left leading us in 13 statistical categories with top 10 finishes. Cecilia worked really hard to hold down the low defense, and she left us second in career caused turnovers with 83. Our key returners are 3 all-conference players in Taylor Johnson, Molly Maher, and Kiki Nevar. Taylor Johnson was our leading scorer last year. Molly Maher was in the midfield for us and led us in ground balls, draw controls, and caused turnovers. And then Kiki Newport was our backbone in goal. We also returned 2012 Rookie of the Year Megan McGurk, as well as senior Chelsea Ritter, who has been solid for us in all 3 years that she's played, and is also a 3-time captain for us. Our key newcomers include 3 freshmen, 2 in the midfield and 1 defender. Our midfielders are Natalie Tinkham and Katina Boster. Natalie comes to us from Delaney High School in Maryland, and Katina from Robinson High School here in Northern Virginia. Megan Higgins is from Garden City, New York, on the defensive end. So all very strong high school programs as well as very strong club programs. We look for them to contribute immediately. Our non-conference play will be one of the toughest that we've seen in program history. It has to be to prepare us for the tough conference play that we'll see. And in CAC play, we continue to strive to climb the ranks and are always fighting for that playoff spot.
It's a really exciting time to be a part of St. Mary's Women's Lacrosse. We've been working hard to bring in talented recruiting classes that, in addition to our upperclassmen, are making us more competitive every year. I think going into this season, we really have the hopes of avenging a few of those close losses we had last year, and to win a few more of those 50-50 games. In regards to the conference, we are regular participants in the conference tournament and hoping to keep that going. Making it to the semifinal last year was amazing. We want to continue that tradition and compete for a conference championship. Our biggest loss from last year is going to be Emily Schaefer. She will definitely be missed this year on the field. She contributed a lot on the offensive end, scoring goals, was a very dynamic dodger, and assisted quite a few of our goals as well. The biggest loss from Emily will be her leadership on the field. She really controlled our offense and was the quarterback on that end of the field. We're also losing Amelia Tenberg and Lauren Gray, both seniors that contributed for 4 years through the midfield and on the defensive end, and it's going to be tough to replace them. We have a lot of great returners. We've been a really young team over the last 2 years, and to have some of those players back with more experience is going to be awesome. I think the most obvious is Paige Decker on the defensive end. She has been a force since her freshman year here, causing turnovers and getting ground balls. We're excited to see her step into a leadership role and really control the defense and help out our newer players. We also are returning the Conference Rookie of the Year, Shelby Newman. Throughout the midfield, she is a threat on both ends. She helps out defensively, she dominates ground balls, and was our leading scorer last year, and we're excited to see her take her game to the next level. I'm really excited about our first years. We have quite a few that I expect to make an impact right away. I'd say first on the offensive end, we have 2 attackers. Meg Gessner, who is one of the best shooters I've seen in a really long time, and a wonderful person to watch finish inside. We also have Abby Harrison, who's a dynamic left-handed attacker who's really going to add another element to our offense. On the defensive end, our top recruit in this class was Mackenzie Rayburn. She is a solid defender with great body position that is really going to step in right away and fill some of the voids that those seniors that graduated left. Yeah, since I've been here at St. Mary's, I've been trying to make our out-of-conference schedule tougher in preparation for the competitive conference play that we have. Out-of-conference, we're playing some really well-known opponents that have been doing well in the past few years. We open our season with Washington and Lee. Excited to have them back on the schedule. Then we'll be taking on Dickinson. Also Catholic and Washington College will be huge games that will help prepare us for the tough conference play. In regards to conference play, I'm really excited about the new additions. Excited to have Christopher Newport in our conference. We've played them the last few years and it's always been a great game.
And we have a lot of challenging opponents in our conference that always make for a tough run down the stretch.
Well, I think first of all we want to make sure we start the season right by, not looking too far ahead and just take one game at a time, as we always said year after year. But I think our expectations for this year is hopefully to, get back to that Final Four. First of all, win our conference. That's our first goal and the most important. And then that'll give us a bit to the national tournament. And then, hopefully get back to that Final Four and put ourselves in an opportunity or a chance to get back to that championship game. We lost a lot of players from last year, so our key losses were, on offense, you got Katie and Lauren, 2 first-team All-Americans, so that's going to be hard to replace. And, defensively, we lost 2 great low defenders, Alyssa and Kat, who graduated. So those were some 2 big hard hits on both ends of the field for us. Well, if we're going to start, let's start on the defensive end if we're looking at players that are returning this year. So, Ashton in goal is going to be a big help, of course, with that game experience that she's had over the years. And then, both the Toomies, Allison and Alyssa, Allison and Megan, on the defensive end. So, and then Laura Maskell and Dominique Tapino, bring a great core back for our defensive end of things. In that midfield, we have Bethany Bear, just a strong, very smart player. And then offensively, I think our whole offense is just well balanced in the regards of we have Shannon Carter, Kate Haker, Shelby Nemechek, just to name a few on that offense that, is going to help replace those 2 graduating seniors. No one is going to replace one of those players. It's going to be a group effort. Well, I'd say in the midfield we have Gabby Nyes that came in as a new midfielder for us, a new player. Low defensively, Kieran Kellen. It's going to do a great job for us, down low. Those are the ones we're really looking forward to be stepping up as new players. Our schedule in and out of season, I think in conference with the CAC, it's getting so much stronger. The parity with CNU coming in, New York is just always, improving, and there's such a great, strong program. Jen does a great job with them. Mary Washington has a new coach, so we're expecting them to, come right back and be challenging. St. Mary's is always competitive. So our conference itself is becoming stronger and stronger year after year. Nationally on our schedule, we're playing Trinity on spring break, so we're having an opportunity to play a NESCAC school, as well as Colby is coming down, so another NESCAC school, which are in the top, I think both in top 10, of course. And then our last game of the season, we go up to, which I'm probably crazy to do, going up to Cortland. At least hopefully their snow will be melted by then to play them. Course College, New Jersey is always a battle. And then in F&M, it's just going to be, we try to load our schedule up where we're playing the best teams in the country year in and year out. So hopefully we get that chance to see them again, hopefully in the Final Four. We try to do business as usual when we're looking at this new season. We looked last year, it was a special season, but we know this year is a new season. And, the girls have to step up if they want to, put their name in the record books and things like that, only because last year no one's going to give us any special treatment. We step out on that field, we got to come out with our A game. Having Ashton return it is just huge with her leadership, game experience, and just her athleticism on the field. Everything that she brings to that defensive unit is going to make that probably one of our strengths this year.
Well, we're a new program. This is our 3rd year of existence. First 2 years was a startup club and playing in a completely different environment, completely different division. And now that we're joining the Capital Athletic Conference, we've moved to the next level. And so my expectations for this year for our team are that we're going to build off of last year's success. We were able to pick up the first victory in school history last year. And going on this year, we're going to pick up a lot more. Now, frankly speaking, we are a brand new program, and the Capital Athletic Conference is, in my opinion, the premier women's lacrosse conference in the nation. And that being said, we got tough competition ahead of us. So our goal is to limit goals from the other team, work on our transition defense, and play solid all-around lacrosse on our end. That's kind of our ambitions and our goals from this year, pick up some victories and play solid lacrosse. Our key loss from last year's team easily was Sydney Albee. She was our defensive anchor and easily led the team as a captain and just an overall great leader. Now, we're fortunate enough that although she's no longer playing for us, she is the assistant coach this year. So she's back, she's involved in the program and lending her expertise. So although it was a big loss on the field, we're happy to still have her in the program. Key returners from last year's team definitely go to Zoe Bradshaw. She was our MVP of last year, our lead goal scorer, midfielder, took a lot of our draws for us, and she's easily a key returner for us this year. On top of that, we have Caroline Schroeder, who's been a mainstay for us the last 3 years, really helped anchor our midfield and our attack line. The two of them are probably our biggest returners, and they're going to add quite a bit to this season. It's an interesting thing starting a field sport in January, and the conditioning, the field work, we're a little limited by what we can do due to weather, but we're making do, and I think we're coming along fantastic. I'm really impressed with the girls' work ethic and how hard they're pushing through things. Even when I'm kind of running them to death at times, they got their heads up and they're working through it, making themselves better every day. So overall, I'm very happy with it. Well, we're fortunate this year that we're playing all of our toughest CAC games on the road. So we'll get them at home next year when we're a little bit more experienced as a team. But overall, our non-conference schedule is a pretty good non-conference schedule around teams that are more in our own position. So we'll find those games to be pretty competitive. Going inside of the Capital Athletic Conference, again, it is one of the premier lacrosse conferences in the nation, if not the best conference in the nation for women's lacrosse. That being said, we got a tough slate ahead of us, and we'll stay competitive in those games, and hopefully we can pick up a few wins.
As a new coach in the CAC and here at Wesley, I'm trying to focus on really having an up-tempo feel, moving the ball quickly, couple touches and get rid of it. On the defensive side, we're looking to attack the ball sooner, not necessarily retreat back to the 8. We're looking to push the ball out and really focusing on our attention of the 50-50 ball. Really putting an emphasis on winning that ground ball battle and focusing on possession. Jordan Lutz, she used to play low defense, but now we're moving her up onto the circle. She has been training for this position and this situation since fall, since I took over the position. And so training her for being an impact player off the draw. She's got the speed, she has the stick work, and she has the height. So putting her back on low D, she wouldn't be as effective as she would be on the circle. Another key returner would be Riley Gould. She's on the offense. She's really my upperclassman that's going to lead the attack, settling the ball when we have that opportunity, doing the fast break, slow break, really placing your shot. She's really going to be a leader and more effective on keeping possession of the ball, not turning it over, and really fighting when we on the transition. So another newcomer will be Kaylee Miller. She is still on the back. She's on the defense. We have quite a few newcomers. If you look at the roster, we graduated quite a few strong upperclassmen. We had a very, very strong senior class, and a lot of holes to fill. one of those positions will be off the draw. The draw controller really was a force that we now are filling it with Caitlin Brennan. She's our transfer. It's like she's been a part of the team since the fall. Okay, ever since I got here, she's really helped out with gaining possession, working with Jordan. We've got Jess Giacone on the outside, really focusing on our restraining line to restraining line play, and she's a key component in that. Another newcomer, she's been on campus for a while, but wasn't really interested in participating with the program until I had arrived. I really kind of convinced her to join us. Steph Blakely, she's on our back end. She's playing low D, really that last line of defense before Casey Cook. As the goaltender, she's a beast on defense, really aggressive, vocal, really will be able to enforce our defensive plays. We have another newcomer, Devin Turner. She's going to be one of our utility freshmen. She hasn't really come into her own yet, but we're working with her to develop her skills and really give that confidence that she needs in order to be effective. I think that she's going to be a big force in the upcoming years. In the CAC, I know that we have a really tough competition. Our schedule is kind of a wide range of abilities, different teams, different things that we're going to gain from each opponent. We're really looking forward to developing the program into being an effective team within the CAC. We haven't necessarily been a force in the past, and I don't think strategically that was a component. We're really focusing on studying game film, having an approach, following through on the game plan in a sense. We're really focusing on our style of play and being effective and following the game plan. That's something that we're really, really focusing on. I know that the teams are strong competitors, and I want to be able to fight back and not just roll over. And that's something that really trying to develop that discipline and that type of practice play is what's going to be most beneficial within the team.
We have a very high level of expectation for the girls this season. We want them to be performing at a high level. We want us to be in a position in every game that we play where we're giving ourselves an opportunity to win that game. So our schedule is, very tough this year, and that's a good thing. We want it to be. Some of the more concrete goals that we have are we definitely want to get that CAC championship. We played in the CAC championship game the last 2 years and haven't kind of broken through that threshold. So we definitely, that's a big one for us. We definitely want to get that. And then, getting to the Sweet 16 of NCAAs last year was really great. And, not being able to get any further than that was a little bit of a sting. So we definitely want to push the envelope in the NCAA tournament and get a little further than we have in years past. So high level of expectation. We're going to be pushing the girls every day to kind of try to reach some of those goals. Key returners this year on the attacking end would definitely be Erica Mulford. She's had some really great seasons these past 3 years. Really stepped up for us last year a lot. Put lots of goals on the board for us. Was somebody that we look to on attack in every situation, whether it would be even up, man up, or fast breaks. We would look to her. She's one of the best riders on the team, so she creates turnovers in our transition and being able to get the ball back. So she's primed for a great senior year. Really excited to have her back. I think defensively, Ashley Smith, our goalie, I'm really excited to have her for one more year. She had a great season last year, really stepped up for us in some big games, was able to get on the all-conference team. So I think she's also primed for a really great year. And then defensively, Meg Strauch, I think she is also going to have a little more responsibility on her shoulders this year. She's going to be asked to step up a little bit more this year, and I think she can handle it. She proved in the fall that, she can, even though she's only a sophomore, play like a leader, play like an upperclassman, and kind of lead the defense. So I think she's another key returner that we're going to look to a lot. We have a lot of new girls this year. I think they all have some potential, and a bunch of them have an opportunity to get on the field and see minutes and potentially even start. I think to name a few, defensively would be Macy Yates. She has come on strong right from the start. She's being put in a position where she's potentially going to be the backer in our defensive zone. So, and that's a huge position. That person that's the backer basically runs the entire defense. So she did a really good job in the fall. I think she's coming on strong. I think in the midfield, two players that are coming on strong from the start are Marissa Gochar and Gina Biederman. I think they both have an opportunity to see quality minutes, and if not, compete with some of the upperclassmen for a starting spot. So, there's a bunch of others that could really see minutes right away. It just, it's going to depend on their performance as we get started here next week. But I think, Caitlin Contrano is also another one on the attacking end that could really play for some minutes. And then I think we have a bunch of new girls to add to the mix of upperclassmen, which is going to be really good because it's just going to keep everybody fresh and everybody's going to continue to compete, and it's going to make our team even better. Our schedule this year is very tough for a reason. I want us to be competing against the top teams. I want us to be competing at the highest level in Division III. So we're very excited. It only means that we're going to have to work even harder. But, our schedule features 9 teams that were ranked at least once last season or more, and a bunch of teams that were NCAA tournament teams. So there's a reason for that. We want to get to the next level, and you can only do that by playing against the best. So I think it's really great for us that we're in a position to be able to schedule those teams and to be able to say that we can have, opponents such as that. I think the additions to our own conference in Christopher Newport and Southern Virginia, I think it's going to add a whole new dynamic to our conference. It's going to make it more competitive. It's going to make getting to the championship a little bit harder, but that's what you want. If you're getting to that level, it means something because you're playing against really good teams. So I think that we're really excited about our schedule. It is going to, put us in an opportunity to do really great things. If we can be successful with the schedule that we have, it means that we're doing a pretty good job because we're playing against really great teams. So that's what we want.
The 2014 season opens up this weekend as Christopher Newport travels to Washington and Lee on Saturday, February 15th, while Roanoke visits Salisbury on Sunday, the 16th. Other teams have their season opening games scheduled later in February. The first CAC showdowns of the season are slated for Saturday, March 15th. The teams will battle for the 6th berths in the CAC tournament, culminating in the championship game on Saturday, May 3rd. Log on to cacsports.com to find out more. For the Capital Athletic Conference, I'm Tim Maurer. Thanks for tuning in to the first ever CAC Women's Lacrosse Preseason Webcast.